You're listening to TG1F, an F1 podcast with Kate and Nicole.
We're your hosts. I'm Kate.
And I'm Nicole.
And this is our show, where we talk about all things Formula One.
And a lot of things that are not Formula One, too.
Because why the heck not?
This is your formal invitation to a weekly hangout with your F1 BFFs, where we'll talk on-track action, off-track gossip, and throw in some hot pop culture topics.
It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned F1 fan, a curious newbie, or literally just think the drivers are hot. Because they are. There's a little something in this podcast for everyone.
Speaking of which, did you hear what happened this week?
No, tell me about it.
The problem with me and this lighting is that, and I'm not wearing any makeup, I look so white. There's no contrast on my face. I was like sitting here for 10 minutes waiting for you to show up, just looking at myself in this camera, and I'm like, wow, is that what I look like? That's what I look like.
Is that what I look like? Well, I was laughing at some of the Vegas photos of the two of us that you took on the track on race night.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between our faces in those photos was so stark.
Well, I also want you to know that you picked probably the ugliest photos of me to post in your in your dump. That
I did not.
I untagged myself from that because I was like, I actually physically can't have this on my profile.
What?
I was like, not for me.
Oh my god, Nick said that too, and I was like, you look so cute in this photo, and he was like, no. So apparently I'm a mom because I am just posting ugly photos of people that I think they look good in.
Yeah. So thanks for that. But it's okay. It's your Instagram. You're allowed to post whatever you want on your Instagram.
At least it wasn't two girls.
Yeah, if you had posted it on two girls, I would have nuked your home.
I didn't, though.
Everyone's going to go look on your Instagram page now to see them.
It's at K8burn_.
But yes, I agree. The coloring in our faces were drastically different.
It was
with the flash
crazy.
on. Yeah, it was crazy.
It was pretty nuts, especially because I was like a little behind you too. So I was like a little bit in the shadow and I had gotten a spray tan. It was like, I was like, whoa.
I'm feeling like I'm in 8th grade again because one, I have been home at my parents' home for now almost 2 weeks.
I know.
Which is crazy. And two, I'm wearing yoga pants and mini Uggs. And I'm like, what year is it?
What year is it, truly?
And so sorry if you guys are watching this on YouTube again. The backdrop is my parents' chaotic basement. So you can kind of play like an I Spy with things that are happening in the background. Hopefully it's not too distracting because it's chaotic in here.
I know. Well, that's why I texted you today. I said, when are you going to be back in New York? Because, like, what, for like an hour between Thanksgiving and New Year's at this point? Kind of insane.
Literally.
Kind of insane.
But you know what? Not by choice.
Not by choice.
So
I was even like, are you even going home for Christmas? Because I feel like you'll have just landed back in New York.
Yes, because I need to return my newly.
So fair.
I had to email them and be like, I'm so sorry. I won't be returning my newly on time. Please forgive me. So it is what it is. And that's why I have to go home because I need different clothes. I cannot keep living with my Vegas clothes anymore. This is my mom's sweater. That's why I had to buy these pants because I'm like, I thought I had a pair of leggings. Turns out they're Britney's. I tried to put them on, realized they were an extra small. And I said, psych, these aren't mine. I said, I don't even think these can fit on my arm.
Oh my God. Do you have her shoe too?
No, I don't have her shoe. I did look.
I had a dream last night that I found it.
Oh.
So maybe I have it.
Premonition.
I haven't unpacked yet because I hate unpacking. So maybe I'll find it. But I did repack my bag fully on the day I left. So I don't think.
So did I. That's why.
Like I fully took everything out and I folded everything and put it in. So I don't think I have it. But we'll see.
Sorry, Britt. Sorry, Britt.
Anyways, we are there's only one race left of the 2024 Formula 1 season, and that feels crazy. I feel like we always get to this point in the year, and we're always like, "How nuts, it's only one race left." And, like, it just always never ceases to amaze me when we get to this point.
I know it feels bittersweet because it's like, wow, we get a break, but also, what am I gonna do without my little characters every week?
I mean, luckily, we still get to follow along on their little adventures on the
So
internet.
true. So
It's
true.
not
I
goodbye, it's
mean,
you on the internet, you know?
we do I mean, at least here's the fun thing about the last race is that we already know that Max has won the Constructors' Championship, right? We know that. But it's going down to the wire for the Constructors' Championship, which
Mhm.
at least gives us a little bit excitement going into Abu Dhabi this weekend.
Agreed. Well, I'll take anything at this point.
Like,
Just a crumb of excitement.
who do you think's gonna take it? Do you think McLaren can stay ahead, or you think they're gonna? I
No,
mean,
you know what? I think Ferrari's gonna do it.
you
I
think
think I do. I truly believe I believe Ferrari's gonna pull it off.
I remember asking this question like mid-season where I was like, "Do you think McLaren's gonna win the constructor championship, or do you think they're gonna have infighting and absolutely fucking blow it?" However, I don't think that it's necessarily infighting that's gonna be the case. I think it's the new warden of race. What is it? What is his official title? He's the new
Race
race
director?
director. He is a warden apparently because what the fuck is going on in the penalty box up there? Like,
Like, it's pretty it's kind of almost impressive that every week they just are able to decide something new. Like, I almost am like, this just feels like a bit at this point. Like, it feels like Impractical Jokers,
it's
you know what
giving
it feels like they've got Mur and Sal and Q on the phone, and they're like, "Alright, now give him this penalty. Now give him this," like, that's literally what it feels like every time.
it's giving whose line is it anyway? There are no rules and the points are don't matter. Like
Yeah.
that's what's happening here. Because the last race was an absolute clusterfuck of penalties. And actually, it felt like someone paid an Etsy witch to put a curse on Qatar to
Mhm.
make it as chaotic as it was.
Yeah. The Etsy witches, they're back again.
They're back
They're
again.
always around.
They never left. They just kind of went into hiding. But
The ones who love us never truly leave
like,
us.
what do you mean? Alex's mirror fell off, no reason whatsoever, just whoop right off, and they
Oops.
decided we're not going to clear it. Let it lie.
Well, here's the thing, Nicole. They too thought it was a beaver.
When I tell you, when I saw that quote from Yuki where he was like, I was like, what the hell's a beaver doing in Qatar? And he's like, well, I thought maybe with climate change. I was like, you know what? He's so fucking real for that. That's something that I would say 100%. I'd be like, well, you know best, I guess. Like, sure, well, fuck it. Beaver in Qatar. Why not?
Like, again, another, like, Impractical Joker is like, "Yuki, tell them you thought it was a beaver. Tell them you thought the mirror was greeting you beaver first."
And then they're just Botaz is just like, fuck it. I'm gonna run it over. What's the worst that could happen? Oh my god, this race I was watching, it felt like every time I looked up from my phone, some new chaos had ensued.
It was very much Mario Kart. Like, it was like Mario Party
Also,
in Qatar.
pretty fucked up that Esteban DNF'd and then they literally were like, "You're done."
I know.
They were like, "See ya, smell you later. Get out of the paddock, get out of the garage. You don't race for us anymore."
Scram!
Scream.
Get out of here. We don't wanna talk to you.
They were like, "Bye, Esteban. We're not besties
Like,
anymore."
And I'm kind of obsessed with the fact that they are, like, playing it off to be like, "Well, this just means that Esteban can, like, test for Haas." Like, no, you just dropped him.
You
Like,
just dropped him.
we all know.
Mhm.
Like, they're like, "Oh, no, it's actually for Esteban's benefit."
Well, it's actually funny, I saw someone that was like, "Well, if that's their reasoning for Haas, like, for Esteban, so we could test with Haas," they're like, "I'm worried that they're putting Jack in this car and testing to see if he's gonna make or break, and if he doesn't, then they're gonna sign Cole Pinto." And I was
I
like,
don't think so. They are kind of obsessed with Jack.
"Yeah."
Also, I'm having a weird moment right now. This is very meta of me. But, like, sitting here talking to this microphone, also kind of thinking about listening to our theater kid moment from last week and remembering hearing that and being like, "Is that my voice?" And I think I honestly need to take a playbook out of Ariana Grande's playbook. Like, take a page out of there because and change my voice. Do a little head voice because I think my chest voice is just so deep and I couldn't even understand myself.
Okay, let's try it. Give me your head voice. I actually don't even know how I would change my
I
voice.
don't actually know either, but there was a kid in my middle school. Like, I feel like I'm kind of doing it right now. Like, I'm just more consciously like talking normally and not just letting myself like start talking like how I
Okay, you
want to.
don't sound like that. The way that you just talked, like, that's not how you sound.
But that's how I sound sometimes on the podcast.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
You sounded like you were SpongeBob, who when he has the suds.
Okay, but I do know because there is a kid that I went to middle school with. Well, high school too, but I was friends with him in middle school in the plays.
Mhm.
And he, for a really long time, spoke in his head voice, which he didn't know, but it was like so high pitched. So he got all like the
I don't
like
even know what head voice means.
it's
Like
like
the voice that's inside your head?
no, so there's when you like sing, there's your chest voice where you're really like using your diaphragm, and then
Mm,
there's your head voice, which is usually more like the falsetto-y. It's like it's almost like you know how you can like plug your ears and you hear yourself talk,
sure.
and it sometimes sounds different. So you can have like a head voice, which is like more how you would hear yourself, which is like different than how you actually sound. But then there's your chest voice, which is where you're putting a little more like power behind your voice.
Mm,
But like, so it's very much like you've heard Ariana Grande's like voice change. So there's the
no.
chest voice, which is like lower, where she like talks like normal,
Mhm.
and then she'll kind of like switch mid sentence, and it becomes like the super like high pitched voice that she's like been talking in like for Glinda a lot. That's her head voice, and it's easier on your vocal cords when you talk in your head voice, I guess, because I don't know. But anyways, this kid I went to school with, his voice was really high for a long time, and then when he got to high school and he had had a whole change, and he had learned he had literally gone to like voice lessons or something to like learn how to speak in his chest voice, and then it was like deep, and everyone was like, "What?" So that's just something that's an intrusive thought that I've been having um
It's
for the past week.
related to literally nothing we were talking about.
Sorry, I
Great
need to
time.
unbutton my pants, they're so tight. Yeah, anyways, sorry.
I actually don't really know. Now I'm gonna be self-conscious, I think.
Well, I've always been self-conscious with my voice because I feel like I have just a very deep
Still, after
voice.
almost 200 episodes of this podcast, you're still a little self-conscious of your voice?
Yes, dude,
That's
I hate
crazy.
every single reel that we post. I'm like, "Who is this man?" It's me every time. I hate it.
It's kind of exposure therapy. I don't really
Well, I don't really listen to our podcast sometimes. I'm like,
mm,
"I've already listened, I was there."
well, that's because I edit 90% of the podcasts,
Right.
so I listen to
And
them.
the other ones I hate doing because I hate listening to myself. But I've always just had a deeper voice. Anyways, sorry.
I don't
Intrusive
even
thought.
know what we were talking about before that.
Jack, Duan, and, um,
Oh,
Franco.
yeah, Alpine being obsessed with him. How do you think things are actually gonna shake out for 2025? Because I feel like as we near the end of the season, there's a lot of rumors swirling. There's a lot of rumors flying around the paddock. Uh, Here are a handful of them. One, that Checo is getting the boot.
A
That's my
P1
favorite rumor. That's my
P1
favorite
rumor.
rumor. Because I would love to see him fired. Secondly, that Charlos, sorry,
You
Carlos.
always do that. You always do that.
I'm a big Charlos fan. Carlos, Christian Horner's been kind of sniffing around the paddock lately, and so the rumor is that Carlos is going to go to Red Bull and take Checo's seat,
P2 rumor.
which leaves Franco at Williams with Alex.
I mean, I think that kind of feels like the ideal scenario. Will it happen? Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Something we always say, though, is in the F1 paddock, when there's smoke, there's fire in terms of
Mhm.
rumors. However, there's been so much smoke for so long about Checo that I'm like, is there fire or is this just a smoke alarm? I can't tell. Or is it so, so, so smoky that there just has to be a fire? It's just an elongated fire. Who's to say?
Who's to say? But also, they're like, okay, I read something today that Yuki potentially might be moving into the Red Bull seat,
I mean, I would love that for him.
which maybe Colapinto will be picked up by VCAR. Carlos stays at Williams, or Carlos goes to VCAR back where he started, Toro Rosso. Who's to say? We've got that. Also, rumors swirling on the F1 store. They have Valtteri Bottas under the Red Bull drivers section.
Kind of insane. If
Kind of
that
insane.
happened, the woman would truly be too stunned to speak. It just feels so not his brand,
I
but I have
can't.
no
I
idea.
can't. I can't see him at Red
No.
Bull. I think he's gonna be happy to be a reserve driver.
Yeah, because what did he and Tiffany just post say? Something about Whistle Pig? I didn't
Yeah,
watch it.
Whistle Pig Whiskey. So they're partnering with them. So just collecting another entrepreneur activity for Bottas.
Alcoholic beverage.
Alcoholic beverage, good for him. I am really going to be sad to see Joe go though. Joe, don't go. You know, we should have started that petition, start
Yeah,
that
we
chant.
should have.
Joe, don't go. Joe,
Joe,
don't
don't
go.
go.
But I think I'm not entirely convinced that this is the last time we'll see him in Formula 1.
No, I mean, he is the Ferrari reserve driver.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. I don't know. It's very interesting because I feel like we haven't seen, actually, I don't know what I'm saying. What I was about to say is just a lie.
Par
I
for the
was just about
course.
to fully lie knowingly. But I was gonna say I feel like we haven't seen a lot of instances where people leave Formula 1, like, not on their own accord and come back. Like, Alonso left and then came back, and we've seen, like, Kimi leave and come back, Kimi Räikkönen, but that's just a lie because K-Mag and Nico Hulkenberg both did that, so
Mhm.
I was just lying.
She's lying. It's okay. She's in her
Girl,
lie era.
it's a lie night. I just needed to lie really quickly. Just
Speaking of
had to get
people
it
who
out of
are
my
not
system.
coming back against like leaving against their will, Daniel Ricciardo. Do we think
True.
obviously 2026 we have a new contender on the grid. We've got Cadillac.
So true, yeah.
What is it? GM Cadillac?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that puts two more drivers in the hot seat, which there can be a lot of arguments made that no, we should not be putting old drivers in those seats. Let's give some rookies an opportunity to make their way up. But as we've all kind of known, Danny is an honorary American. The sponsors love him. I think that they could bring in a lot of money if they put Danny in that seat.
Give people a year without Danny and it's like a year without Santa Claus. It's not gonna go well.
It's not going to
And then
go
they bring
well.
him back, they'll be the heroes. People will
Who's
be throwing dollars at them.
who's heat miser and snow miser in this scenario?
Snow Miser is Josh Allen because he's in Buffalo.
Did you
In the
watch that
snow.
game? Did you watch
No, I didn't
any
watch
part
that
of
game.
that game?
No.
No? Okay, but it was like Josh Allen scored 2 touchdowns on his own. One of them one of them, I don't remember who it was, threw he tossed the ball to him. The guy throws
They were
tosses
just
the
playing
ball
catch.
backwards to Josh Allen. Josh Allen scores a touchdown. I was like, "Guys, we are running trick plays here, and it's incredible." There's a foot of snow coming down. It's complete whiteout conditions. It was insane, and I was just like, "This is sports. This is sports for me." So I, just like Danny, understand why everyone's obsessed with Josh Allen. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get why he's the second wag.
So
Speaking of, also got engaged to
my
Haley
girl.
last week.
My future movie star of my
Yeah.
life. So actually,
So
I kind of got engaged to Josh Allen.
that's crazy work. So, Josh Allen, Snow Miser, Heat Miser.
Dax Shepard is Heat Miser because he lives in LA, and those are Danny's 2 homes, and he doesn't know where he belongs, but they also probably don't like each other because they're competing
You're
for
so right.
Danny's best friend.
You're so right. That's
BCF, best celebrity friend.
it's perfect. Okay. Heat Miser, Snow Miser, check. Done.
Settled.
You're without Danny.
A year without a Danny Rick.
He's Mr. Heat Miser.
Miser,
He's
he's
Mr.
Mr. Sun.
Sun.
Did you? He's Mr.
Green
Green
Christmas.
Christmas.
He's
He's Mr.
Mr.
101.
101. It also makes sense. It really does make sense because Dax lives in LA and
That's what I said.
oh, okay.
That's why I said him.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that part,
Yeah.
but perfect. Yeah, so a lot of rumors swirling about who's gonna be in the Cadillac seat. Um,
Well, we did hear that, like, when it was supposed to be, what, Audi?
mhm.
They
No, well, yeah, it was Audi, and then it was potentially Andretti, and, we've
Right.
had a couple of names swirling and twirling.
Wait, no, but Audi's Steak? Steak is turning into Audi? Am I
In
right? Am I wrong?
26, yes.
Because that's why they have Nico,
Next year. No, 2026, yes.
and they've signed Nico for
Yes.
that.
Yes,
I'm getting
okay.
all
Record scratch, freeze frame.
I'm getting all kerfluffled over here.
Yes,
Don't know what's
Audi is
going on.
coming onto the scene 2026, but they're not gonna be a new team, they're just taking over Stake.
Right. Because we had heard rumors that they were also interested in Carlos, and that he
Mhm.
had been attached to them at one point. So who knows if Carlos is just taking a Williams 1 year seat to do that, and then or maybe he goes to this new team, or I don't know.
I don't know, but you know what? What I do know? I'm sitting back and I'm watching.
I'm just gonna sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Yeah, because there's bound to be drama. There's bound to
Always.
be chaos. There's bound to be petty arguments.
Yeah.
So I'm seated. I'm sat.
Like, I'm having a lot of fun thinking about Christmas movies and casting them, like who is who. So let's thinking about some of the classics. Rudolph. Definitely Lewis is Rudolph.
Why?
Because everyone used to make fun of him. He is the only black F1 driver. He's gone through trials, tribulations, hardships, and he's always stayed true to himself. And he said, okay, well, guess what? I'm going to be your best guy ever. And he is now leading the charge on like everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone loves him and he's the GOAT.
He leads the pack for sure.
He is the red-nosed reindeer.
Mhm.
And he's getting in a Ferrari next year, so extra red.
Helmut Marko, obviously we've already talked about this. He's Scrooge.
Yeah.
Free ghost
Valtteri
of Christmas past are coming for
Valtteri
him.
is, Frosty the Snowman,
Mm.
for sure. He's just jolly, you know?
Who's the Grinch? Christian?
Yeah. Yeah.
Carlos is giving Buddy the Elf.
No, Danny's giving Buddy the Elf.
You're right.
Sorry. Rewind. There's no way.
Sorry, I was only doing current.
Okay, fine.
Sorry. You're right. Danny is certainly Buddy the Elf.
I also feel like Liam Lawson gives a little Buddy the Elf energy.
Okay.
He's kinda silly.
I feel like Botaz is the snowman with the mustache who's in a lot of those claymation movies. I don't know what his name is.
Okay, well, similar vibes because I said Frosty for him, so we're both on the
Okay.
snowman train.
Okay. I feel like he's just like kind of he's there. He's kind of guiding you. He wants the best for you.
Yeah.
He's a chill guy.
Charles can be hot Frosty.
Did you watch that movie?
I haven't watched it yet, no.
It's really bad, but it's so good. The best part is that at one point, the hot snowman just literally turns to Gretchen Wieners and he goes, "Hey, what's cancer?" Like it's literally insane. And they've used like some weird stock font for like handwriting for like the medical records. It's so funny, dude.
Okay,
You gotta
gotta
watch
watch.
it.
What's Jensen Johansson from Klaus, my favorite movie, definitely Lance Stroll
Okay.
because he's, like, so rich and privileged, and then his dad sends him, to Smearensburg to set up a post office, and if he doesn't do it, then he gets cut off.
But a good character arc for him, so I guess we're still holding out for
We're
Lance on
still
that
holding
one.
out some hope.
Um, trying to think, like my mind is blank on all classic Christmas movies right now.
Well, we just talked about all my favorites, I feel, so
I'm trying to I
Yuki
cannot
is Cindy Lou Who
yeah.
in, like, the anti-version of The Grinch, where it's kind of a horror movie, and Cindy Lou Who is
Which
swearing.
I was like, which version is that?
Oh, no, I'm making it up.
Who's someone who's Kevin McAllister always getting left behind? That's Oscar. For some reason, I feel like Oscar fits Kevin McAllister vibes.
Or Esteban.
Truly, I think you know what? I think Yuki would be a good Kevin McAllister. He's
That's so
he's got
fair.
he's got some he's a little deviant, you know? Speaking of deviance, let's talk about Max Verstappen throwing George Russell to the wolves.
Literally saying, "This girl is a fugly slut. Do not trust her."
Like he said,
Like, that's what he was writing a burn book, and he's like, "George is different off camera."
you know what? Max won, and he said all bets are off. And a lot of people are speculating he's going to pull a Nico Rosberg and just be retired at the end of the season.
Would be so iconic,
Because
actually.
he put together, like, a party for, like, all of the Red Bull employees as, like, a thank you for this season, and people are like, "Oh, he's pulling a Nico Rosberg for sure." That would be the craziest thing where he just, like, peaced out. He was like, "I'm done. Fuck this shit. I'm gonna go stream on Twitch."
Like, it would be honestly he would be an icon for that.
He would be. I would respect the fuck out of him if he did that. So
Just put
then that leaves
Christian
who
Horner, like, in the worst possible scenario. You only have Checo.
well, spoiler alert, he's bringing back my dream team. We're getting Danny and Carlos.
Yeah.
We're getting Danny and Carlos at Red Bull in 2025 if Max retires, mark my words.
Mark my words.
But he basically said, "Oh, I already won the championship. Fuck you, George."
Yeah.
Like,
It's
the fact
so
that he was
funny.
like, "He moves different," you guys don't even know. You don't even know the truth about George Russell. I'm like, "Yeah, tell us. Speak
The
on it,
tea.
sis. Speak on it." That's what I like to see. And then apparently some photographer was like, "Max is telling the truth. Like, George is actually a fucking asshole." And I was like, "Hell yeah, brother." It's not that I don't like George. I just like there's something again, we've talked about how he seems to be a bit of a brown noser. He seems to be a big rule follower. And
There's
it's
just
just
something I don't believe about him. Everything about him feels very, like, perfectly curated.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Even his, like, silly, goofy Instagrams.
Mhm.
Like, "Oh, candid." I'm like, you
They're
pose for
not.
that candid." Like, I know this isn't who you are, and everything just feels very, like, calculated.
And I'll tell you what, we obviously we've been Carmen's number one fans for a long time, but this new version of her and George that they've been kind of
Yeah.
curating this, like, Stepford Wives version of
Yeah.
themselves is,
They're
like,
just trying to be a power couple, and it's like, you can't try to be a power couple, you just have to be one,
just
and
say
you guys
you
kind
wanna
of
be
were one.
yeah, just say you wanna be Toto and Susie and go.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm so sorry, you're not.
No,
And,
it's just very weird. Again, it feels very curated, it feels very, like, forced, and I'm
again,
not
it's,
loving
like,
it.
Stepford Wives, like, upper class British people. I just, like, you're so unrelatable, and it's not even, like, an aspiration where you're like, "I wanna be that person." I'm like, "You guys look like you don't have fun." Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't look
Yeah.
like there's an ounce of fun in this relationship at all. And
No.
obviously, I get that they're putting out this version of themselves, and maybe it's different behind, closed doors, but as we've learned, George moves differently. But it's kind of like that doesn't necessarily play in today's world. Like, people want authenticity and people
Yeah.
want to see, like, the real you, and if, like, that is the real you, that's so fucking boring.
Yeah. It's why people love Kika,
Mhm.
because she and Pierre look like they have so much fun together, and it makes me, like, love them
Alex and
so much.
Lily.
Yeah, like, exactly. I just feel like George and Carmen are really trying to give modern day Posh and Becks,
Mhm.
and it's like, that's been done, and the reason that they were so time period that they were in too, like, it was, like, the dawn of the paparazzi, basically, like, there was, like, no one doing it like them, like, they were both very, very cool and famous individually, so
Mhm.
then together, it was, like, crazy, like, they were just, like, power couple status back then, and I just feel like that's what Jordan and Carmen want to be. Like, they're like, "Oh, we kind of work together, but, like, we don't," but, like, I'm like, it's just not feeling right. It feels very contrived.
But the problem is that Victoria Beckham, whatever her maiden name was before she married David, she was already incredibly cool on her own. Like,
Yes, that's what I'm
she
saying, they
had
were both cool and famous on
yeah,
their own.
and then, like, she had a real energy about her,
Yeah.
whereas Carmen has always just been a wag. Like, she's just been George's girlfriend, and obviously now she's trying to branch out from that and create, her finance book and this
Yeah, but, like,
persona, but
underneath George. Like,
George.
it's just, like, it's weird. I think the way that she's going about it is strange because she's, like, trying to not be known as, like, she wants to be her own entity, and
Mhm.
yet she has a partnership with Mercedes and Tommy Hilfiger with George. Both obviously came from George's position.
Yeah.
Then she's, like, hosting dinners in Vegas for WhatsApp and Mercedes. So, like, you're not actually kind of being your own person if the only opportunities you're taking are from this relationship you're in, which is fine if
Mhm.
you just kind of lean into that and, like, are cool about it, but she's trying to be like, "Oh, no," like, I don't know, I just feel like she's trying to have this, like, individual persona, but it's too attached to this other thing that you can't really get away from that. Like,
There's
I remember her first partnership that I actually thought was so smart and so good was when she worked with that shoe brand to have her own line of, like, loafers, because
Mhm.
she always was, like, wearing loafers, and I was like, "This feels cool and authentic and very you," but, like, and it feels, like, authentic, you wear these all the time, like, it just feels like it makes sense, but now there's, like, this whole it's trying too hard.
it's an incredible 180 from where Alex is, because Alex, you don't even know she's dating Charles Leclerc on her Instagram.
No, literally.
Like, there's not a single photo of him on her Instagram,
Yeah.
and if there is, he's cropped out. And she's really built an audience that people are obsessed with her and not necessarily her relationship, whereas I feel like George and Carmen, it's George and Carmen.
Yeah,
You
well,
know what I
exactly,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, like, and there's also something, like, kind of unsettling. It's giving, trad wife content for some reason, like, the way that she's always dressing so modestly, and, like, I feel like as time has gone on, we've seen her, like, cover up more and more, like, not that that's necessarily a bad thing, like, I don't think
Right. No, yeah.
dressing modestly is inherently bad, but I think with kind of the lifestyle she's selling, it just feels off to me in a way that I can't really articulate because I'm not smart enough to be able to like think about it in that way, but there is something to me that's just not right. And I think about like that red outfit she wore recently where I was like, why are you wearing like what's happening here? I just there's something about her fashion as of late that I feel like is a microcosm of the macro environment right now.
Yeah, for
Not to
sure,
you
and I
guys,
mean,
not to be that type of podcast, but like let's talk about it.
no, like, and I think it's so fair because but I think for a long time, and I love when Lily uses engine failure to, like, discuss wags and, like, their
Mhm.
fashion, but for a long time, like, the big thing with Carmen was, like, okay, she needed one less piece of clothing here, like, she just always has a lot of layers, there's just a lot of fabric to it, but I feel like that's even been stepped up even further, and you wanna know what it really is giving? And I would be this is, like, an unhinged prediction for, like, George's future, but it's really giving pre-political
Government?
run.
Yeah, political run. Like
Like,
that
it's
like I said.
looking like what they would like, in Scandal, when she's like, "Okay, we gotta start dressing Melly like a president's wife
Yeah.
to start giving off this image of, like, an all-American family, and, like, you have to start, like, dressing a certain way to, like, have this look for your husband's political run." And it
Like I
feels
texted
very
you
much like
guys,
that.
I don't like this Kennedy Jackie O situation
Yeah.
that they're trying to pull. Like, to me, it just yeah, it feels like he is going to be running for fucking prime minister,
Yeah. No,
which
truly, which I'm like, I unhinged prediction, I think once George is done with F1, he's gonna be trying to, like, do a political run
mhm.
and, like, get into the, like, parliament. Like, I'm like, he's already the head
He's vying
of
for
the
Minister of Sport.
GDPA,
Yeah.
like oh,
The
GDA.
class president to political run pipeline,
Yeah,
it's
like,
right
he's the
there.
head of the Grand Prix Drivers Association, so he's, like, already kind of, like, wheeling and dealing with these, like, governmental bodies. Like,
Mhm.
it's obviously not, like, the government, but it's the F1 government, and I just feel like I see a political run in his future, and I think they're already trying to, like, position George and Carmen as, like, the perfect British couple that you would trust to be in your government.
Yeah.
Feels insane.
Conspiracy. Okay. Guys, we'll circle back in 5 years and see where we're at with this.
Like, you guys
Like,
write that
so
down.
I can imagine this is how it's gonna go. George wins a championship with Mercedes. Ideally, he would win it with Williams or, another, really British team. I get Mercedes is stationed in,
Yeah.
uh no, it's in Germany, but, a team that's firmly British, right? He wins it for the good old boys of Britain, and then he retires and announces his run.
Mhm.
Um, you know, Formula 1 champion George Russell announces his run for prime minister.
Like, it's so crazy that I actually don't feel like it's that crazy.
No, not at all.
Like, I'm actually, like, fully on board with, like, this is something that's happening. Either that or Carmen's about to run for something.
What? No shot. No
She's
shot.
all up in her finance bullshit.
She is, which
She's been saying she's been working on stuff, and she's got like, so I'm like, "What are you gonna try to do, like, finance secretary?" What is that? I don't know. What
treasury.
treasury? Yeah, that's it. Says the girl in Financial
The
Times, but
thing
hey.
is it really feel it really feels like she's trying to be, what is her name? George Clooney's wife?
Amal.
Amal.
But she can't be, that's Little Miss Sandy's job.
You're right.
So sorry.
Wow.
So sorry.
TBT, Lil Miss Sandy, haven't thought about her in ages.
I miss her.
Hope she's well.
My lawyer queen.
Yeah, so Carmen's trying to be like, "I'm in a also respectable industry, I'm in finance."
Yeah.
Um, so who's to say? But I just it's not been vibing for me lately.
No, no. It's very strange. She was, like, the top of the top for so long, and I just feel like it's kinda spiraling out of control for her, and it's very interesting.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like,
Yes.
I don't think we'd catch Carmen dead in a crop top at a race,
No.
and she used to have those sick outfits with a crop top.
Yeah.
We'd never get that again.
No. Alright, quick predictions going into the last race.
Okay. I think it's gonna be all out fucking mayhem.
Mhm.
Like, I kind of just think everyone's gonna just send it. Like, Ferrari and McLaren are gonna fucking send it to try to win constructors. I think there's a couple drivers that are having, like, their last races, and they're gonna be, like, just going nuts, being like, "Well, what is the worst that can happen?"
I mean, K-Mag's out, so everyone better fucking watch
Right, like,
themselves
"What are you
because
gonna do,
he
fire me?" It's
yeah,
giving big, "What are you gonna do, fire me?" energy, like,
yeah,
they're just gonna go out and just,
yeah.
like, cause mayhem.
Joe, Bottas, everyone who doesn't have a seat is just gonna fucking send it.
Yeah, like, Bottas posting today, like, the photo of him laughing and saying, "When they told me I would score points this season," like, this man does not care anymore, like, he's gonna just be like, alright, well, I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I wanna do on this race." But I think it's gonna be crazy.
I also think Max is gonna be on some shit on the radio. I think
Yeah,
he's gonna be wilding out on the radio. I think we're gonna get some crazy quotes from him this weekend. I think Checo finishes not in the points. If he
yep,
does, he hit the highest he's finishing is 8th. I think McLaren, unfortunately, is going to win the Constructors' Championship because maybe Carlos sends it into Charles as one last "fuck you."
mm, mm.
Did you see Charles being like, "I'm not gonna miss Carlos," like, he's just right down the paddock. He's like, "I'm not gonna miss him, I don't care." I was
I'm
like
sure he didn't say it that way.
he was just like, "Stop asking me if I'm gonna miss Carlos. He's only a couple garages down." I was like, "Okay, things are tense in Ferrari right now."
Things are always tense at Ferrari. When are
Okay,
things not tense at Ferrari?
yeah, it was and then I'm interested to see how it goes with Mercedes and Lewis's final race this weekend because
Yeah, do we think that they're gonna, like, fucking celebrate him at all? Because we've seen so much drama in the past couple seasons of them, like, not celebrating when he wins, and,
they
like
yeah. They posted a thing that was like, "Thank you, Lewis."
I know.
But apparently Toto said, Lewis fans were idiots because they were, like, doing conspiracy theories, and he was like, "They're idiots," and so everyone's like, "Happy race weekend to my fellow idiots." So, I don't really do much research, I just see tweets, and then I just take that as fact. So
You could really get me and Nicole with kind of anything. We could say anything on this podcast if you
we
send us the right thing.
we are F1's poo crave. That's us.
Correct. Correct.
That's us. Alright, anything else you wanna talk about?
No.
Okay.
Short and sweet this week.
Short and sweet. I just wanna take this moment. This isn't a manifest minute, but not to bring the vibes down, but I'm gonna be existential here for a minute.
Okay.
And the fact that for anyone listening, I recently had a sudden death in the family, and I think it's just reminded me how important it is to do the things that you want to do in life and be present and spend time with the people that you love and make sure that you are not making decisions based on what anyone else wants for you, but instead doing what feels right to you. So if you are thinking about going one way but you're kind of scared because you're on a path that feels safe but it's not really what you want to be doing, I can't recommend enough to just go do what you want to do because you truly never know when your time is going to be up here on earth. So
Yeah.
just make time for yourself to do the things that you want to do. And if you guys want to start a Formula One podcast, start a Formula One podcast because if it's calling to you, then you can do it. But it's just one of those things where I'm just reminded that, like, I'm really thankful to be doing this with you and to have this community and know that there are so many special people in my life that I love dearly. And I'm really grateful to just have this community and know that there are so many incredible people who are chasing their dreams and making their passions a reality. So I hope everyone who's listening never stops doing that. And, the TG1F community is building some incredible things. I've already seen so many wonderful creations out of everyone in this community. So excited to see what you guys do when you stop limiting yourselves. And that's all I'll say on that. But I hope everyone has a good final race weekend. Abu Dhabi, let's see what you got for us.
Abu Dhabi do, baby.
Uh,
As George
and
would
just
say.
take time to do something that you really want to do this weekend. Don't let anyone tell you no.
May the power of the holiday season compel you.
Exactly.
Live your whole life like it's the holiday season.
Mhm.
Let me tell you what.
Exactly. You never know. You never
Never
know.
know. Unlimited. Your
Together
future
we're
is
unlimited.
unlimited. Go see Wicked too.
Go see Wicked, hold some space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity and for whatever you want to do in life.
Amen, sis. All right, great place to end. Great way to end. That wasn't even a downer. I mean, obviously it is. The cause was a downer, but the effect is an upper, which means
Yes.
we're kind of net
We're
neutral.
kind of net neutral.
But anyways, we'll be back next week for our final episode of the season.
Mhm.
But until then,
We'll see you
we'll
on the
see you on the
internet.
internet. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of TG1F, an F1 podcast with Kate and Nicole.
If you like what you heard, don't miss out on the fun between episodes.
Keep up with the chaos on Instagram at 2 Girls 1 Formula. That's spelled out TWO Girls numerical 1 Formula.
And check out our website, twogirls1formula.com, to shop cute fan-made F1 merch.
See you next week.
But like we said, in the meantime, we'll see you on the internet.